What other books have you been involved with Magic Can?
Magic Can itself has produced quite a few, and they're mostly available on our website to peruse if they're not out of print. But we've done several books where we worked on an Erdnasian one called The Experts at the Card Table.
Oh, that's a wonderful book.
Yeah, so my colleague David Ben is the author with who he calls S.W. Erdnase as E.S. Andrews, and there's an essay in there about that. Penguin Carries.
Yes, we do.
The Experts, if anybody's interested. I shot the photos for that, as you will read in the story, not once, not twice, but 3 times. David wouldn't go for 4 because I wasn't happy with the work. That was shot, when I was shooting the photos for the Zero book. And that was just in a time when digital SLR was really making a big transition.
Okay.
So we were in that weird place of not quite big enough pixels and not quite enough rich quality. So I did a lot of work to manipulate the images, and we ended up working with a couple of designers, and I then took over the project to lay it all out. And that was a great project for me to learn from, because The Experts at the Card Table is David's reimagination of the experts at the card table. And in doing what we did was we had to reorganize the material. It's Erdnase, but as David likes to say, with an editor. So it's a big reorganization.
You could have definitely benefited from an editor.
So he took the liberty of doing so, and to lay out the images instead of just a few illustrations. We wanted to almost storyboard what was happening. So we took the time to create a design where we could have the reader open the book flat, lay it all out, give the reader a chance to follow along with the text. So the book was a challenge to design, but I'm happy with the choice we made, so we could accomplish all these things. We're thinking of the reader. But then we've also done some fun projects where we did some historical reproductions. So the Grand Expose and How Gamblers Win.
I own a copy of How Gamblers Win. I'm a very big fan of that book. It's a lot of fun to read.
It's a great book.
Yeah.
And I have this fun job of reading this old text. So I reset the Grand Expose, talking about the cons. 1860s, these cons are going on that are happening right now.
Yes.
Today, maybe not downtown Orlando, but today. And it's amazing to me that the psychology that goes inside of it, So we've had these are much smaller reproductions, historical reproductions that we made. So those are smaller books. Then we did another book called A Cut Above, where Monsignor Foy, who also lived in Toronto, was 97 years old, I think, when he took those photos with another Toronto photographer, Ron Van Summeren. He took the photos of how Monsignor invented over 100 one-handed cuts. This is well before cardistry was developed, by the way. So we produced that book, and that's available. We've done several other books. We also, of course, worked on the biography, the first part of the Di Vernon story that David Ben wrote. And we did The Essential Stuart James, which is a book, if you know the Stuart James books, there are like 3, I don't even know if your listeners know what a telephone book is anymore. I used to describe it as that. I just caught me, Eric. Anyway, it's a pretty big stack of books. And we had some editors come in and choose 50 of the best Stuart James effects. So that's a great book. And again, it's more affordable in the sense that it's a smaller, slimmer volume. It's manageable to open and read. You can really learn about the ingenuity that Stuart brought to the table in terms of magic and how he thought about it. So those are the kinds of projects that we like to work on. So we also have a magazine, Magical, which is the history of we work on that too. And
as a huge book nerd, I could talk to you all day. But thank you so much for joining me on the Penguin Magic Podcast, and I look forward to having you back after you get done with your next colossal project that I'm sure is going on.
It's a 9-volume book. Come over here, I'll tell you all about it.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.